Good morning. I am higher vibrations and so are you. And I'm a little bit lower than usual. We have a new environment here. We're joining in from a new office center. So it's really cool. So let's just Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, all that jazz. There's a lot of crazy energy going on right now. Everyone's exhausted. There's a lot of frequency of like this sinus thing and this lung thing. Oh, by the way, I got to show you my sweater. It says naughty. That's right. And it glows in the dark. It's Merry Christmas. Crazy Christmas sweater wearing time. Hey, Vegan Vixen. Welcome. Good to see you. Hey, you lovely soul. Sending you lots of festive love. Good to see you. Vegan Vixen also says thirsty but can't drink, tired but can't sleep, and hungry but can't eat. Weird clicking and frequency in ears and really off balance. Anyone else? Yes, yes, yes. There's a lot of this frequency happening right now. Um, frequency. There's a high frequency of this occurring right now. So I'm having this. I'm finding that I am drinking different things than I'm drinking a lot more coffee and juice than I am water. And then all of a sudden, all I want is just water, nothing else. So it's this. We're shifting. Remember, I'm kind of like a pre-waiver, so I experience stuff a little bit ahead of time from people. That way, I can have this conversation. That's like my role and one of the things I've agreed to do on this experience at this time. And so I'm just on the other side of what a lot of people are experiencing. This just and my lips that just were like you just need to exfoliate. You just want to be like there with like a sugar scrub like all the time and just super thirsty, but just yeah, like you said, nothing sounds delectable. You don't want to drink anything. And it doesn't really seem to work. And so I noticed that I was looking for different things like teas. There's a lot of awesome herbal teas that I started drinking again that I hadn't for a while. Just I'm noticing I needed more salt, so I'd actually put salt under my tongue. Usually, pink Himalayan salt, and people also talk about oh, I can't remember it right now. There's another salt that's like a thing, Egyptian salt or something. Anyway, underneath the tongue before drinking the water does help. This sleeping thing, I'm with you. I am so exhausted all the time, like all the time. I'm so tired. And I have a 9-year old, and we're doing this, and it's the holiday thing, and we're actually going to do the holiday thing this year. And so that's going to be really interesting. It's a very peculiar uh, thing that the people do that my daughter's really going to really enjoy. So anyway, yeah, I'm yes, and then the hungry. Um, I'm finding that I have no appetite, none whatsoever. Like I really don't want to eat anything. Um, not into any idea of any kind of food. And then all of a sudden I'll be like, oh, I'm so hungry, and then like I'm like eating 5 things and then regretting it because in its resting state, your stomach is the size of your fist. And when we go through periods of fasting, which a lot of us are doing, um, you can call it intermittent fasting, is something that I do all the time. Is I don't eat breakfast and usually don't eat lunch either. My body doesn't want to, so I'm not going to make her. Um, and so we'll have this shrinking of the stomach just in those things. But I went almost a month without eating recently. I mean, I would snack here and there, but I wasn't really eating. I'm still not. And so when we do go through these, oh my gosh, I'm hungry, then your stomach it's not used to that amount of food. And so there's like that sickness that happens. Maybe that's what you're talking about too. Donna says, oh yes, and very thirsty, drinking lots of water, but still thirsty. Yeah, there's a lot of this going on. Hello, Janet. I always do that wrong. See, I was corrected a lot to say Jeanette. And now I'm so sorry, Janet. Massive crown chakra headache. This headache thing is something that I was just talking with someone else about. This has really, really been um, uh, uh, weird feeling the migration of the headache. So I'm going to talk about what the headache feels like for me. So yeah, the top, a lot of us are having this crown activation. So like in the center of your head, where your, I guess not your natural, my natural parts off to the side, down through, there was like this ravine that I could actually put the tips of my fingers into. And other people could too. It was really weird. And the next day it was gone. That was like at the peak of the headache problem. And so then it starts to my, it's for me, it's more like right here, there's this triangle here, this triangle space that's really getting activated. There's also the band that a lot of people are having, that it's like a headband, but usually it's like one side or the other. um, I'm having a lot of third eye stuff personally. And so, and it just kind of lurks around the side sometimes. Lots of um, temple. I was going to say temporal, but that's correct too. Kind of stuff, because we have these chakras that are coming back on. Um, we already had this, but now we're having another layer level. There's a whole bunch of chakras. It's a whole chakral system within a chakra, within a chakra, within a chakra. And these are coming online for a lot of people. Will y'all let me know if my volume's okay? Because I'm not used to having the mic like this, so it might be too close to me. I'm gonna jump down to make sure I can see. Hey Ernestine, hey, how you doing? So good to see you. I just heard that you had a birthday recently. Happy birthday. That's awesome. Um, Oops, I clicked. There we go. Cheryl says, I'm hungry, but hard to find something I will eat. That's a really good one. That's the appetite, is that I'm feeling hungry. I'll go through like, hey, I really would. Volume is good. Thank you, Ernestine. Thank you, Jeanette. The 22nd is Ernestine's birthday. What an awesome day. 12/22, 222. Um, yeah, happy birthday, sweetie. It was really cool. I got to connect with Ernestine at the festival. There's a lot of people who are joining in that I got to see in person. It was really fun to meet y'all. We're gonna do like another gathering here at this place, at this 152 acres in the North Ozark Mountains, for the April eclipse. So I'm inviting y'all to come on down. It's not going to be there'll be a suggested donation for the services like that we put money into, like food. um but it's just going to be more of like a camping thing. Any of you who are coming, Fort Smith, Arkansas is the closest town that still has vacancy. Most of these hotels and Airbnbs are already taken up, because so many people know about this. This is in the line of the eclipse on the crystalline mountains. And so this is really a big thing. So anyway, if anyone wants to come, I'm telling you now, so you can, if you want to not camp in April, it's usually between 50 to even 40 degrees as a low. And so it is campable. There are like pole barn kind of outbuildings that some of y'all can like kind of gather together in with your tents or whatever. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be so awesome, man. We got this band coming in. It's gonna be amazing. So anyway, anyone who's interested in that, um, I'm sure I'll create some type of ticket system. That way you can say, I have a ticket, I registered that I'm coming, but you're all invited. There's for your own travel costs and things like that, keeping that in mind. Joseph, hello. Joseph says, I want to honor you and validate you for your authentic truth, as well as the light that you are bringing into this world. Oh, wow. Thank you, Joseph. That was so beautiful. Oh, I really appreciate that. Getting a little emotional about that. I always, that's the goal. I want to be here to assist and to help people to see, because you know what, guys? We're in a really cool part. This is the part we've been waiting for. Like, this is the moment. Last night when the clock shifted, it happened. Like, we were already here, though it wasn't available or accessible to everyone. And we are now. We are right now. It's here. We are here. It's time. Everything is done gradually in the spirit, so it can be more palatable. So it can be longer lasting. If something comes in very strong and very sudden, it's a shock enough that it doesn't usually last. And so that's why all things in spirit are gradual. Many people want immediate, because a lot of these most um, prophetic messages come as cliff notes. What's a cliff note? This is a book, right? You can't see my hands. Ooh. Okay, this is a book, right? And the Cliff Notes tells you that puts it down into a very short time, like lets you know what the story is. So keeping that in mind, for instance, the Great Solar Flash is already happening, guys. We're getting it. We've been bombarded constantly for over a year. We're going to continue to get it. These types of things. Anyway, so now we're here in this part. This particular day right now, the 24th of December, I've been waiting for 8 years. And we're actually here now. And it's happening. So y'all, a lot of y'all are going to feel really tired. You're going to feel fatigued. You're going to feel drawn more to quiet, to meditative states, to the silence of your inner being, so you can go within and see self, allow emotion to be expressed. Many people are finding they're just crying just at the drop of a hat. And I like to validate you in saying there's no cause for embarrassment there. In order for us to feel an emotion is is has some type of baggage associated with it, like it's got something that you're not whatever strong or something like that. And while we do that, we're pushing these emotions down and we're saying you're not going to go anywhere. What is emotion? Emotion, energy in motion. That stuff's not supposed to stick around. It's supposed to move through. And a lot of us get so distracted by why why am I feeling like this, where's this coming from, that we grab it and hold it and say stay here forever. And then it's like, okay, if you need me. And then it causes havoc in our body, the areas of our body that are are present in order for us to notice specific emotions start to just go through difficulty. We start to notice things like organs that are associated with anger and processing anger, like the liver. People are having gallbladder. That's relationships and letting that go in the morning of it. You're having all these different emotional areas in the body. This is really easy to look up. All you have to do is just Google it, any kind of search engine, pulling it up. What emotion is associated with, and fill in the blank for the organ that you're noticing having discomfort in. And I've never had someone come back and say, that doesn't feel like it fits me. Your body's telling you, it's helping you. Our bodies are talking to us more and a lot more loudly too. Um, a few of us have had this experience. It's really cool. I wish I could remember who I heard say it, but recently I haven't been watching content, and something popped in recently, and this person had mentioned the same thing that I've been going through, is that now my body is starting to talk like a person and showing me what is needed. It's really cool. Showing me what it is that my body requires right now. Um, and it doesn't have, it's like we have the layer of the food thing. I forgot to share this. So I'm going to hurry and put this out to, there we go. We have this stuff with food. Our body tells us whether or not it wants a food or doesn't want a food, right? Like you can do the lean test. So this is the food, and you're like standing at the grocery store or on the shelf and saying, do you want this? And your body will lean toward it, at least slightly if it does, and away from it if it doesn't. Other individuals like myself will also have just this open dialogue, because you'll notice, like for me, it looks like the world's shaking a little bit behind my eyes, and that's my body saying no. But now I actually hear it say good, and like these types of things. Or we'll start to notice that we're drooling or salivating. That's a natural response. That your body wants that food. Why does your body want that food? There's a mineral, a vitamin, a thing that your body needs in there. Or if why is it doesn't it want it? Well, a lot of us are growing away from being in alignment with some of the toxins that we could process before. We can't process them as easily anymore. And so we're noticing that our body's purging the desire to eat a lot of the things that were standard before. And so we are struggling a little bit. We're finding that um, it's harder and harder to find the foods that our body does actually want. And so, just allowing yourself to fill it out and, try different things. Anyway, I went a little bit of a tangent, but the main thing is that our bodies are talking to us about the emotional baggage, and not set like it hurts. It's like saying, hey, let's look at this now. And showing us a past life experience in some occasions, an echo from a past experience. Oh, Vegan Vixen, thank you so much. 1111, thank you, Pamela. Best wishes for Merry Christmas or for Christmas and the New Year. Merry Christmas to you. Thank you so much. That was so beautiful. Vanya says, it took me 12 years to get to this point. It's so amazing. Trust the process. Woo, woo. We are here, people. It's on. Like a lot of people are noticing like a lot of stuff coming up and maybe they don't want to deal with, right? This is the emotional stuff that a lot of us try to ignore or don't want to deal with or think that maybe it's not something that has to be addressed. If we just look away, it'll go away. And it needs to go. It needs to be acknowledged so it can move. And those things that are coming up sometimes feel like attacks. It's our body saying, please look at this, and so, and all of this stuff. So this is also what happened. Okay. So I have a way to see, I get to see certain things that others don't get to. It's just a thing that part of my process and what I am here. And um, I'm seeing the energy of the planet has 3 souls now. I'm not sure what that means, except that it's beautiful and it's awesome, and it's also bringing a lot of energy. It's like there's an overlapping. It looks like there's like 3 souls. There's 3 energy coming off the planet. And so all this energy is coming in and it's like a hug. You feel it on you, you feel it around you, the energy of spirit hugging and embracing and assisting us. When this comes in and there are things that aren't in alignment with that light, with that frequency that's coming in for us, those things are ready to go because we're going up here and they're down there. And there's like the sticky part where it feels like you're trying to pull from something. That's always a catalyst. When you have something that anchors or pulls you down, it presents the need to pull farther away. And when we pull farther and harder, then we were able to be catapulted. We're able to be catapulted, yeah, into this amazing space. So just letting you know, okay, just letting you know that that a lot of this stuff is going through here. I'm going to turn that off because we got somebody that's just trying to. Okay, overlapping dimensions. That's right, spiritual warrior. It's like an overlapping dimension. It looks like there are 3 of them rather than there being different dimensions, though. It's as if the 3 sisters have rejoined. 3 sisters is really interesting. I have to look that up. I'll have to write that down because I don't know what that means, but I know that was channeled. 3 sisters. I got to see what 3 sisters is. I know 7 sisters. What's the 3 sisters? Is that Orion's belt? We're supposed to notice something in the sky sometime soon, in the stars and the heavens, and that's going to be like, oh, okay, that's where it is. So that's coming through soon. I wonder if this has to do with the 3 sisters. Love your Christmas sweater, Waking Beauty. Thank you. It's naughty and it glows in the dark. And I've had it for a million years. I love this sweater. What's really funny is that I'll wear it and I'll like forget I have it on. It's like nighttime and like I've got my phone and it's dark and I turn off the phone and it had like charged up the glow in the dark part and it just it startles me. It's really funny. Really feeling the Christ energy. Yes, actually, that's the topic of my conversation with Guardian of Orion, Jay Zoltan. I'm going to start that conversation with him in a little under 2 hours. So like an hour and 41 minutes, I guess is what it is. And that's our topic, is this Christ consciousness. There's a lot of stuff about this that's coming in. And I'm trying to save it for that conversation. Yes, a lot's happening with that. People realizing what that is and how to access it. This is like, it feels like the big secret because it's not a secret, but everybody knows about it. And like, it's hidden in plain sight. It's all unhidden, all of this stuff. So cool. Jeanette says, craving herbs, spice, and minerals only. Yeah. I'm noticing I'm a big uptick in adding seasonings, spice, and minerals and things to anything that I'm drinking or eating. A lot. and I'm noticing other people do it too. It's really interesting to watch. Higher need for a greater need for salt. So the people are adding more and more salt to their drinks, their foods. Um, I just talked to somebody recently who was saying that they've been doing what they're called savory tea, and it's like salty tea instead of adding a sweetener. I should try that. It sounds actually pretty cool. It sounds kind of like soup, and I like soup. Um, Patriot Hero, hello, welcome. You made a comment last week, and I was just wondering if you could explain. You mentioned that spirit can or has lied to you. Can you? Yeah, I can't explain that. Can you explain if that's true, and if so, why would they do that? Thank you. That's a really good question. So that was me being Pamela and kind of like jabbing spirit in the rib because it's kind of how I'm not reverent at all. Like I called Archangel Michael Bob for like 3 decades. I didn't even know his name was Archangel Michael because they don't actually care. Anyway, um, they don't care because the names we assign them have nothing to do with who they. That's not really their name. It's a residence rather than a word. Anyway, excuse me. Hold on 1 second. Still have that cough going. Pardon me. Anyway, what I was talking about here was an example. I know exactly what you mean. The example of how, for instance, in the movie The Matrix, the Oracle, um, Neo goes to the Oracle to find out if he's the chosen one, right? And she says, "Sorry, buddy, you're not the chosen one." And she said that even though he was. She said that um, in order to step all the way away from having impact on his free will, for him to get to decide, because that's like you just don't tell anybody the end of their story. So the joke I was talking about, Patriot Hero, was that I kept getting all this energy. Hey, it's 222. I kept getting all this energy that, like, what I was doing and what my role is was that I was basically starting school in the summer course during the summer courses before school starts. That was like the visuals I was being given and like the examples and all this stuff, and that I would be a peer just like y'all, and like we wouldn't have to worry about, it was just getting ready. And I was just going to show people where things are at and get, an idea of the place, basically. And then, ding, 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 school semester starts. And they're like, hey, guess what? Congratulations, you're a teacher. And I wouldn't have said yes to that if I was told that when I asked the question. And that would have likely derailed what I had done in the course of the next steps that I took, because I no longer had to worry about being a teacher, no longer had to worry about the Pamela worry that I do, is that I'm not. I don't I struggled, especially then, at seeing myself as somebody that might be a leader in some kind of way. Um, and so they gave me the ability to um, decide for myself and just behave as I would naturally without ruining the end of my story. Um, and so you could call it a lie. I was, because I was jabbing spirit in the rib, being like, come on, like um it feels like it's simply instead following what soul contracts, soul agreements I had made before coming here, that please don't ruin the story for me first before it happens, kind of thing, right? So a lot of people having ET experiences will notice that they have like these large black eyes. Um, and we think that that's their eye. This is actually not always, but for me and in my experience, a lot of the time, these are sunglasses. They're like sunglasses. They're a lens, and this is because if we look upon into the eyes of these individuals, these ETs, these higher beings, these light beings, these other energies that come through, if we look into their eyes, we will see more than we're ready to see. And not because it will bother us to see it, it's that it'll ruin our story. Like this, us coming here and being here during this time um, is like the most awesome thing. Also, we need to be able to, in some way, exist beneath the veil until each part of the veil that we are ready for it to be lifted for each of us individually on our own soul path and mission. And so that's what that's all about. So you could say that it feels like if they're keeping secrets too, but if they're doing it out of respect and guidance from you and your higher self that they are in communication with regularly. So yes, thank you. Thank you for responding to my question. You're welcome, Patriot Hero. Thank you for asking. Janet says, Three Sisters, a magical formation in Australia, a Native American story about farming. Thank you very much. Okay, so I am gonna break that down. Australian Native story. Okay, this is something that really came in. I know, Patriot Hero. I want the answers now. I know. We think we do. I can tell you this. Every time that I've gotten a download of like a bulk of information and I'm like, whoa, this is what I've always wanted. The first thing before I even finish saying, that's what I always wanted to know. First thing I do is I recall what it was like not knowing. It's really weird. It's really interesting. And I'm seeing that. That's the ability to not know is one of the biggest gifts about being here. If there's this thing that every time that I have died, is as many of you know, I've had multiple near death experiences in my life, and every time that I have, I go to a place where all of these energies are coming to me. You could call them soul family, you could call them angels, you could call them whatever you'd like. They're these energies that are excited. They're like, wow, what was it like? It's like your friends at the end of the ride meeting you at the gate going, whoa. And and always, every time, I always want to talk about what was joyful, what was amazing, the fun parts. I want to talk about, family, friends, love, celebration and things. And they're like, we got that. We know that. What we want to know about, we want to know about the suffering. They can't replicate that. They want to know what it's like to be in chronic depression. They want to know what it's like to feel separate, to believe in the illusion of separation from spirit, from others, when we are not separate in any way. We are one thriving organism, always consistently in breath as one. When we pull back into this, I need to take a break and be in my own space for a moment. That's the sigh, the natural uniqueness in our breath that comes through. The rest of it is a group participation thing. And so, you know, this is what they want to know about, though. They want to know about the parts that suck. They want to know because they can't replicate it. They can't replicate the trauma. They can't replicate any of these things. And why? Why is it so beautiful to feel these things? One, it's really hard to obtain. And secondly, we're not able to fully experience. We're not able to fully experience the things like joy, like love, in such a deep, deep, profound way. The way that we feel these moments of joy and of bliss are like, "Bwah," compared to what they get to experience, because for them, it's like a regular everyday thing. So having the contrast makes it so we're able to experience the joy and the love and all of this oneness in a much more profound way. So yes, for them, it's something to almost be jealous of, that we get to experience this here. Sherry, hello. Also, Three Sisters is Orion's belt or the belt of Orion. Pardon me. Also known as the Three Kings or the Three Sisters. Is an asterism. I've never heard that word or seen it spelled. That's really interesting. I like new words. Asterism in the constellation Orion. It consists of three bright stars. Yeah, and I see this. I see the three stars all the time. I'm gonna write that cool word down. Asterism. I like new words. And I see it. Copy and pasted from Wiki. Thank you so much, Sherry. That's really cool. I really want to look at that word. Okay, this is important. We need to understand what the Three Sisters have to do with the moment that we're in. That's a message that I'm going to decrypt and figure out a little bit. I wonder. It's really fascinating that my guest on the show in an hour and a half is going to be Jay Zoltan, who previously went as Guardian of Orion. That was his YouTube channel name. So this is fascinating and kind of interesting how that kind of connects. We'll see how this is. Sherry also says, Al, I'm not I'm not going to say those words. That's awesome. Thanks. Today's not the day. My tongue isn't not wanting to work too. Like we're having a really hard time with language. That was so funny. Thanks, Sherry. Vegan Vix and Pamela, do you think abilities, talents, gifts, etc., that we have had in past lives will be carried over, reactivated in this life? Yes, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, those are the names of the three sisters. I see. Thank you so much. That was really fun position to put me in. I love that. The way that my tongue has been, the language has been really weird. So yeah, let me talk to Vegan Vixen's question really quick. So yeah, they're actually happening right now. A lot of you know for many years, science taught us that we were basically a platypus. I know this is a joke, but I really feel like I've always wondered that. Like every time they said 95% of your DNA is junk, I've always thought, what? Well, even I was in the principal's office for this over and over again. Like I didn't belong. I didn't work. Me in school did not work really great because it was like I knew already. I already had three near death experiences by the time I started school, and so anyway, I knew that was not true. Well, guess what? Now science is saying, oh, turns out it was just dormant DNA that's coming online now. Surprise, surprise. No surprise. Everybody knew that. Usually when stuff comes forward, we're like, yeah, I know. Thanks for telling us. It's like, um, and so what's happening, if you pull back and you go up into this astral space, in the astral plane, when we're like, sometimes we're a couple hundred feet tall. It's weird. And our bodies are light bulbs. When you go up there, you can see the planetary system that we're in, the solar system that we're in, and it's careening through the cosmos, and it's doing this. It looks like Elsa Dillon. She talks about the spin. We're spinning all these things. We're doing this. Everybody looks at it like this flat plate, the sun in the middle, and all the planets just go in a perfect ring in stationary space, and they're not doing anything. No way, dude. We're going through space so fast that our skin would like rip off our face, right? We're careening through the cosmos, following this sun that just all the way through. And while this is happening, we're hitting checkpoints. We're hitting trigger points, places in the cosmos where certain parts of our DNA can then come online. At the same time, every time that we do, we're getting a solar blast. We're getting, CMEs, we're getting solar flares, and then we're watching the planet activate. I was going to say reactivate, but that sounds correct, more correct. And so all of this reactivation that's happening in our bodies is happening in the planet and it's happening in the sun because we're going back to, and as we go back to, this is a new office, so I haven't brought my book in here, but remember that those spheres. So God was decided to experience and so created two, and God stayed the same. There wasn't any loss of God. And then from that, double and double and double. And that's the breath out. Some people call it the Big Bang. It's God's breath out. And it's the scroll. This is God. And the farther away from God, the less light. The light source. And so the farther away, the more shadow you see. And that's where God can experience. God can actually understand. We can use the word God or whatever word you want. And that's source, universe. It works. I use the word God because everybody knows what I'm talking about. I don't use the word God when I'm talking to God, though. Anyway, so it's 2, 3, 4. Now that we've got to be experienced because we're all appendages of God. We're the fingers of God, right? Because it's like this is still the arm, the hand, the body of God. Now it's time to come back. It's time to roll the scroll back up. So all of these separations are merging again, are reuniting, are coming back, and the same thing's happening as we careen through the cosmos. It's like we're recollecting. You can look at it like Play-Doh. There's a small piece of Play-Doh, and it's like squish, squish, squish. It's getting bigger and more complete, and it's going, oh yeah, I remember what it was like to be me again. Thank you. And then we're remembering this confidence in this higher self way. By the way, Most of you have merged with higher self so much. I don't know if y'all noticed this or not, but when you're going into the astral plane, when you're going in dream time, in astral or in conscious, doing it with um, this place of intention and meditation, you're going as yourself a lot of times now because we've merged with higher self so many times. Before we used to go into astral, be like, oh, look, I'm a higher self. Now it's like, hey, I'm Pamela and you're you. And so when we're doing this, we're also having weird sleep, weird dreams because we're not really fully aware of what we're doing. It's really crazy and so cool, and so we're bringing a lot of stuff back. Most of us are waking up abruptly, sometimes even shouting or engaged. People are walking in their sleep. They're talking in their sleep. We're remembering that we're in council. Usually I'm like the person who's like, you know, okay, this person's being really passionate. Let me help translate because this person sounds like they're angry, but they're not. And then this person over here is done and tired of the everyone not seeing the awesomeness, and so they're excited and they also sound upset. So I translate and I help people be seen, and then I bring forward, okay, well, this is what they're experiencing. And it's kind of like a motherly thing that I kind of do in this place. Everybody has their role, and it's very fascinating. So many of us are waking up with this, waking up engaged in counsel, in deep passionate conversation and activation activities. So, keeping this in mind, when we're having this, please allow yourself to just, absorb what you can. Um, Many people will forget their experience and then kind of wish they recalled it because they want to go to their next thing that they do as soon as upon waking. So, my suggestion, you know, most phones have like an audio recorder. It's really great. You can just ramble a bunch of stuff while you're coming into the waking state and then go back to it, and you'll be able to fill in blanks too. You can also do this in the middle of the night. I find it more useful than trying to do it a pen and paper or to write on the phone because the bright light will bring me into consciousness a lot faster than I maybe want to. No part of us is junk. That's right, Sherry. Yeah. Fen likes my sweater. Thank you so much. It's naughty and it glows in the dark. Merry Christmas to everyone who's joining and who haven't, um, or whatever you celebrate. There's Happy Yule. I'm sure I don't remember all the different holidays. I actually don't usually celebrate these holidays. Um, I celebrate the solstice as Christmas typically, but we're sharing this experience with another family this year. So my daughter gets to have the whole like festivity thing that we've never done before. So this will be kind of fun to see how this works out. We're going to have a very social time, and I'm sure that my daughter will really enjoy it. And I hope there's places for me to hide. That'll be tomorrow, though. What a beautiful time. What a beautiful time, too. I called God Daddy, spiritual warrior says, I like this. I like this. Whatever name you want to give. And that's the thing is that all these energies, they don't use names like we do. Like they don't assign this label. There's a resonance. So think about if you have a child or a fur baby or loved one that you just really care about, that energy that you feel coming through just as you say their name, just before you say their name, that's their actual name. Um, there's a whole nother thing about that too, the straw man name, and it's a whole thing. My daughter has two middle names because your first in this country, in the country I'm in the US, your first name's not actually really your name. It's the property of the government. So Maddie's not really Maddie's name. Her name is her two middle names and her last name. Kind of fun how that works. That was a weird side note. Um, Colleen, a yod in your astrology chart is a yod. That's a cool word. I wonder if that's a typo or a word. That's cool. A yod on your astrology chart is called the finger of God as well. Love you, Pamela. Love you, Colleen. It was so good to get to spend time with you. Um, a yod. That's kind of fun. Um, Vicky says, hi, Tess. Nice to see you, love. Good to see you, Vicky. Um, Jeanette says, Janet says, yes, total merger with everything everywhere. I don't know if I'm going to get your name right, Jeanette. Janet. Janet. Oh, I am, that's just a thing. What happens in my head is that once I decide that's somebody's name, I've been told names that weren't someone's name they were joking, and it stuck. I still think of them by that funny nickname that's not actually supposed to be their name. Patrice says, a yod draw a huge triangle. It's for souls who put extra challenges on themselves. A yod. Huh. That's really fascinating. I picked up a lot. I had my near death experience when I was 4, the plan was, oh, thank you. Thank you, Janet. I no worries. I love you. I love you too. It's just so much. Yeah. Oh, hey, yeah. Tess says so much crying. There's so much purging and allowing yourself to cry. Allowing yourself to cry. Like most of us have been brought up with some type of conditioning. Usually it's family, the way that we're raised, saying that the crying has something to do with weakness when it does not have anything to do with this. In fact, it is a strong thing to get to do. When you release that, you allow that energy out, that energy to go, to stay in motion, emotion, let that energy be in motion and go. Then you're moving on into the next experience, the next place, and allowing yourself to feel it. I've noticed that the more that I've cried, the more that those tears turn into tears of joy, like the Hallmark commercial kind of joke, right? Where you're just like, wow, I'm just crying right now and I can't believe what I just am. Like if we can't cry, if we can't get ourselves to cry at first, a lot of times what we can do is we can do some laughter. Laughter is very similar. I would say crying is much more healing, but if to get it started and going, to teach our bodies. I used to not cry but once, twice a year, and it would cause physical, it felt like damage to me by crying. Like it would cause some serious duress. I would look like I would just got out of a boxing ring the night before. Just it was really unpleasant and it hurt. I would have crying hangovers. And then once I started letting myself cry more, now it's a thing. Like I'm great. Like I'm happy. I'm like, yeah, I get to cry again. When I do these sessions with people, usually I get to cry every time, and I look forward to it. It is so useful, so healing. And no matter your gender, if you can allow yourself to cry and release some of this stuff, the more the better. Before you know it, it really it does. It changes. Right now we are in the time of healing. We are in the time of healing. And this is an honor and a privilege. Oh, hey, Angie Willow love. I cry all the time. Crying is so good. It's so good for us. We're in this time, man. We're here. It's everything we need to heal. Everything we need. Feel to heal, free. That's exactly right. That's what I was just talking about. Sharmony, Diamond Heart 888. There's a lot of stuff about eights coming through. We just had 88 people, both in YouTube and Facebook, streaming in right now. And so today, December 24th, 8 years ago, was when I knew exactly what we were going to be doing right now. And I've actually forgot that it was 8 years until I don't ever look at my Google Photos thing of like, hey, 8 years ago today kind of stuff. And it popped up and it reminded me, holy crap. And I was already going, we're here. We did it. Woohoo. And then I was reminded that actually really, that was when I started to get some pretty profound activation. It's time to go, time to start. It's time to move this train into the healing range. And so a lot of us are getting proof. Tears remove toxins. There's proof that there is proof that it does remove toxins. Tears help us in a lot of different ways. We're getting eye activation too. As we heal, what I mean by healing, we have physical stuff. That's not what I'm talking about. The trauma. Most people will had typically gone through their life just pretending or trying to be as if their trauma never happened. Just, move through it, it has something to do with, I don't know. And then it wouldn't go away. It wouldn't go away. And then we would have the end of a life cycle. And then as we ended the life cycle, where our soul would go, oh, we didn't do that.
Well, we got to do some more. And so we do some more, and then we come back and we add more to it, that same kind of trauma, so we can point at where it needs to be healed, what needs to be healed, what we didn't heal last time. And that was just 444. There's 44 minutes and 44 seconds since we've been going. um, and it just piles up every life cycle that we do it again and again before it gets to be this huge burden. It's a lot to heal. And so then now people like me and a lot of y'all came in here saying, yeah, go heal team. And so when I was 4, I said, okay, give me all the trauma. The table was full. It looked like a table represented by stones of all the trauma, and there was a lot more there than there was supposed to be. And so I picked up a lot. I picked up a lot for this lifetime. And boy, did I. However, I have also been in a place where I've been guided and supported in healing these things. How did I start that healing? Many of you know I was a trafficked child, starting from when I was 4 until I was 14. I was um, against my will, made to be a partner with many different adults. It was part of my life, not to mention the incredible different other kinds of abuses happening in the home. I would say it's unlikely that any one of my siblings does not have traumatic brain injury of some kind from the way that we were raised and the violence in the home and being fed alcohol as a young age to cause us to be incapacitated and more willing to do whatever the adults wanted us to do. I'm bringing this up because it looks bigger than some people's. It doesn't mean that my trauma feels any worse. My trauma feels the same. Our pain thresholds are the same. My trauma feels the same as somebody who, for the first time in their life, someone said, "There, I'm disappointed in you." It feels the same. And so, what did I do? That's why I'm showing you that I came from something big. Is It's called quantum healing. I didn't even know what I was doing. And oh, hi, sweetie. What I was doing is I was going into those moments in kind of a meditative state. You can call it even semi fantasy or daydreaming state. And I re experienced these moments, each one at a time, a little bit here, a little bit there. And I changed the story while I was doing it. I thought I was changing history, my history. It kind of works that way. However, by embracing empowering self to say, do the things that maybe you would have liked to, maybe even coming in as a different character in the story as an adult and being like, you're no, and then like stopping the occurrence, those types of things changed my need to hold on to those traumas. The most powerful part of that, as I went through all of those, I started doing that when I was still in the home, still being trafficked. um, is I found that as I started to do that, I realized my biggest difficulty, what I had been doing to myself, was that I had been holding on to it with the belief that there needed to be some kind of um, consequence to the other individual, that there needed to be a balancing of the scales, that somebody had to like, you know, um, come in and create great punishment against these individuals to make up for whatever, fill in the blank. There are no balancing of the scales. That's probably the hardest piece of truth to swallow, is that no one is getting theirs because we asked them to do this before we came here. This is part of our soul plan. Our soul, people call it contract. I don't I It's a soul agreement, because a contract implies that you can't get out of it. You can. As all these different things, you can choose as you go. Um anyway, and so once we finally can realize that there is not a balancing of the scales, there's nobody's going to come and like make it better. It just is. It just happened. It was. Now what? Now what are you going to do about it with you? You're going to hold on to it, or you're going to release it? If you release it, you can be better. You can feel better. Your life can be better. And then you're not ignoring it. You're not saying it didn't happen. In fact, you're acknowledging it in the most perfect ways you can. It's just that there are no longer victims. There are no longer, we no longer have the ability to exist within the frequency of the martyr as well. All of these things no longer truly exist. And so us holding on to those moments and trying to have this be an occurrence is what is creating the illusion, that's the best word, for being in a 3D paradigm when we are no longer there. We're doing it for ourselves. We're choosing to see what we see. I'm going to move on to a question. So Janet says, forgiveness is the healer with love. That's right. That's exactly right. There's no retribution. That's the word. Thank you. There's no retribution. Yeah. And like having the belief that we needed to have, someone have a consequence also hardened our experience, our heart. It creates barriers. It closes the ability to pull, to extend out. Once we no longer feel this victim place, this something is owed to me, then our energy field changes. I remember I used to tell everybody your energy field's about 50 feet in diameter, which was true for me. That was true. Now, no longer in that place, I'm finding that my my space is much, much more expansive, and we can reach across the globe, across the cosmos with this energy, and we do it all the time. Once we no longer burden self with tragedy that no longer needs to be played and played and played, so well, they got to experience this in their life review from the perspective of the victim times 100, right? I mean, there's a sharing, and I would say that again, being in that experience, when I picked all that trauma up, I was coming back. The life path I had taken was I would be here till 4, and then my father killed me. And he did. It was an accident. And he's an angry man. And that's just how he was. When I died, that was going to be the end. And I was going to come back, and I'd be here now as a child during when the awakening's already occurring. However, in that moment, the way it felt to me was just enough free wills had made choices that made it possible for me to do what I needed to what I was going to do as a younger person now in the life that I was in. And then I was presented with what looked kind of like a table full of glowing stones that could have been light. And each one of those was a type of trauma, was a trauma that hadn't been healed by somebody who had been incarnated here before. Like I said, if it wasn't healed, then it piles up. So it doubles it each time. It doubles it and I disappear. Peekaboo. Sorry. Anyway, so uh I had agreed to take all of these things on, and I was excited. I was arrogant. I'm an arrogant soul, dude. I'm like, I'll do all of it, and I'm the one saying, give it to me. Let's do some more. How much more can I take? Let's see how much I can do. And I'm down here in Pamela going, stop. What are you doing? Let's just have a cup of tea and meditate. you know, um, anyway, what was really cool to observe self in that moment was that it felt like I had just completed the first level of, remember Donkey Kong back in the arcade days, that really easy game. And that was the end of the 4 years of life that I had, was that Donkey Kong. There was a lot of trauma and stuff, but it was short lived. And I always stayed in a place of happiness in those moments. Even that was actually why I got in the most trouble in my family, was I would just laugh even though I wasn't supposed to. Anyway, um, and then after finishing Donkey Kong, what I was going to do now I was coming, accepting the mission of playing the most complicated, elaborate game yet been invented, that hadn't even been invented yet. Like, just, and I was excited. I was like, okay, here we go. Here we go. Pardon me. And I also knew that I wasn't going to get to leave early. And I didn't trust that. I tried over and over again. I was very suicidal for a time, just like many of us, because it's hard here, dude. It's hard here. We aren't from this frequency. We're from a higher frequency. And we came on down here. We're like, oh, this is going to be fun. Trolling through the bad neighborhood. It's a lot more than we thought we were going to do. And so, yeah, I tried to exit early a lot. And I couldn't. People die on accident all the time. And that's not what was intended for me and for all of you. We're here right now because we're supposed to be. This is the moment that we've been waiting for. We're actually here. I'm really excited. Charbonny says, yes, OMG, Pamela, that's me too. Jesus, laugh out loud. Franco told me, I kept saying, I'm strong. I will take it on. Jesus. I think he meant Jesus. Yeah, yeah. Like it's if when we're like, no, dude, stop. And we're like, wait, but up there we're like, yeah, how much more can we do? Oh, don't worry about it. I'll figure it out. I just did that. I was having the experience and I was like, yeah, why don't we do some more of this? And I was observing stuff and I was literally saying, okay, we're good. We're good. But trauma right now we're healing through. I just healed through a lot of trauma. 5555. That was just we've been aired for 55 minutes and 55 seconds. And I took on a lot. And so the past 2 months, I've been doing a lot of healing. And I took all this trauma with me to a metropolitan city where I was dumped in the middle of nowhere and had no contact with anyone that I knew for weeks at a time. And holy buckets. Talk about an accelerated healing experience. Wow. I can tell you right now that unless it's absolutely needed, I am never doing that again. Holy crap. That was intense. Anyway, that's a little personal side note. That was a lot. I'm still healing through that, Houston. Holy crap. We did so much healing, so much cool stuff. There was a fun festival in the middle there. But yeah. And so a lot of you are starting it right now. A lot of us, that's why I am who I am. I'm called a pre-waiver. I do things before others do so I can help, and I don't have a perfect understanding of what we're doing. I just know that this is what I'm being guided to do now. And so, okay, well, I'm going to go do this now, and I know the energy that's coming, and you can use your discernment plate and you can feel it. You can feel that the guidance that you're being given is with love. And so just going within each moment. One of the things that I've been shown over the past few months, the most important lesson that I've learned is how to relinquish control and therefore find control. We underestimated the difficulty of this planet, all right, Patrice. We is that to stay in each moment as if each step is the step that is the only step that you have. Meaning, you're not looking ahead. It's like seeing, like, like a roll of carpet, and then as if your toes are right at the edge of the roll of carpet, the one that's on the ground, and the other foot's lifting up, and it looks like you're about to set your foot where there is no carpet as the carpet's unrolling. But to just step out, to let the universe catch you, and to allow the universe to do its job. And so with just stepping forward blindly, you could say, into the next experience, into the next moment. And always, always the universe catches us. Always my foot has landed firmly on the carpet that I was meant to land on, is in that particular visual representation that they gave me in the metaphor of learning to relinquish control. And so if I didn't first perfect that before going to Houston, and to that density and to all of that deep trauma and all of that fuckery of that fucking fuckery place. I'm sorry, dude, but that was intense. We wouldn't have been able to do it. I wouldn't have been able to do it. And so that was why I was taught at that time. Many people are learning that lesson right now. You can call it a lesson. You can call it something else that sounds more fun. You're learning that dance. it's it's um happening in steps, and so many people won't feel it nearly as intense as they do, as I did. Um, that's usually the case too, is that my experience is usually, wow, that was a cool face. There's a lot of beings in this place. There's a lot of energies. I'm in this room alone, but I'm not alone. It's amazing. I'm up here on this magic mountain place, by the way, guys. So those of you who don't know, we are in the line of the solar eclipse for April 8th, 2024. The thing I've been talking about my whole life, that I was going to be in the North Ozark Mountains. I knew since I was 14. I've known for 30 years. Here we are. And you all are invited. There's, you know, a suggested donation to cover just basic costs. I'm not selling anything at all. And you can come camp. That's not a cost. Um, and we have 152 acres of forest and awesomeness here. It gets down to between 50 to and the high 40s as a low in April. So it's pretty reasonable to camp. We also have some like pole barn kind of outbuildings that we can all like, you know, everybody can be within walls and then put tents or whatever you want in there. There are some rooms and vacancies available at Fort Smith, Arkansas, during that window of time. But from what I'm being told, they're starting to price gouge. Um, I don't know. You can camp. That camp here. It's beautiful. You can go and see some of my previous posts. I've been showing some of the area here. This place is amazing, guys. Anyway, so we're going to have gatherings starting, probably people are going to be here around April 4th because that's the 4/4 portal, and the eclipse happens on the 8th. I can tell you right now that they've already been putting out all this advisory for a few months already. People are coming from all over the world. That got nothing to do with me specifically, that are coming to this mountain, needing to be here in this place for this eclipse. And they're already saying that the 24-hour window before the eclipse, there's going to be basically gridlock. And even though you'll see a car every few miles on the road right now, it's not going to be like that, they're saying. So if y'all are coming, come early, hang out. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have a band. We're going to have a bunch of people from the festival that were at the festival are going to come, and it's just going to be a riot. Um, the wood is free because I live in the forest, so I'm all moving this tractor around. I'm going to be pulling up some logs. There's all kinds of. We recently had somebody come through. The city came through. Their county came through and cut down all these trees along the power lines. So now we have all these trees that are already down. There's no work to be done. They're already fall. They've already been fell. Anyway, bonfires, awesomeness. It's going to be a good time. So if anybody wants to come, think about that. Look at the possibility. If you want a hotel, look into that ahead of time while you have the chance. Patrice says, you've got to learn to surf the wave and trust its beautiful curl motion. That's right. We are the wave. We are the I am of the wave. We are the each drop that make up the wave. And each drop is one. We are the one of the all. Every time that we go into these places, that we find that we are connected in a deeper, more lasting way than we have ever realized. And as we connect, as we meet with one another, as we reunite, we're finding that we're the energies that we've been interacting with each other, or the energies we've been interacting with in a higher soul conscious way. It's pretty cool. So yeah, it's pretty amazing. Hello, Pamela, says Shelly. Merry Christmas. All stocked up and ready for the blizzard coming tonight. Oh man, I do miss the snow though. I miss the snow. And I like to, well, I'm that person when it starts to storm outside, then I'm out there with the shovel. And like, I mean, I'll be out there for hours. I love shoveling. In fact, I think that's how people could tell that I moved. Was we started to get snow where I was living before, right after I left November 1st. I left on 1/1/1. And the snow started to come in. I do miss it. Anyway, I should get going. I have Charmony says, yes, pre-waiver, go through it first to take it on and alchemize, then assist others. That's right. That's how we roll. A lot of us roll that way. So a lot of you're noticing some of the people that are reporting symptoms are talking about things you already experienced. It doesn't mean that it's happening again. Sometimes there are layers of things. We have more than one occurrence of a thing. However, not always. And so it's just something to be aware of. I collapsed many timelines, went partial catatonic 4 to 5 times. Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot going on right now. Good job. Thank you, Tess, for your service. All of us are doing different types of things. We have no idea what we're doing half of the time. Oh, I clicked the wrong thing. I meant to say, Lucy, hello. Good to see you, sweetie. Yeah, rolling, rolling. Okay, I do need to get going because I have a conversation with Guardian of Orion of Jay Zoltan from the Guardian of Orion channel of YouTube. Um, Coming on in an hour, just under an hour. And so um you can I'm right now it sounds like that the Todd Medina and Co are still in AWOL hood and hibernation mode. A lot of people are going to hibernation. Please, please, please honor yourself. Allow yourself, if you need to go within, then do so. Take your time. It's all good. There's a keep rolling. Todd says that. I've been saying that's how I roll forever. I mean, he stole it from me. I don't know. No, it's okay. A lot of people have been saying that I've been taking things from Todd lately. I was shown what I do. I'm blessed. I'm so happy that you said that. You saw that. Todd said off until January 8th. Yeah, I wasn't sure. He was very unclear if he was because he kept I don't okay, so anyway, um we'll see if let's see how that works. So anyway, I love you all so much. I will talk to you soon. Catch you on the next show and Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year. Um there's going to be some more energies coming in, but this is the bulk part. This is the part we have in succession that way. And so we're going to find that there's going to be it's going to get easier. That's what I want you to know. It's going to get easier. I love you all, and I cannot wait to experience this other side of the shift with you. Sending you so much love. You're not alone.